Hi, friends. My name is Toni Cureton. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Life Skills FYI. Life Skills FYI provides a set of core adult capabilities to manage work, family, and relationships successfully. It's designed to help build the skills adults need for life. Life Skills FYI teaches skills of planning, awareness, focus, self control, and flexibility. They are daily living skills to promote successful, independent living, skills that every adult should know but were never taught in school. Life Skills FYI premieres on Thursdays at 10 a.m. on our My Virtual Academy Facebook page and on Instagram. Today, we are going to talk about how to start a conversation, not just with a stranger. Um, a stranger, but not just in social situations, but um, in professional situations, on your job, um, at professional events that you might attend, conferences. We're going to teach you how to start a conversation. Some people, they seem to have a knack for making conversation, while others struggle to make small talk. I know sometimes I do. Knowing how to start a conversation is a valuable social skill. Whether you are trying to settle into a new position at work, or starting a new school, or meeting a new professional client or contact, the ability to start a conversation is an excellent skill for networking and building relationships. Knowing how to initiate a conversation can help you feel more comfortable and confident in various social situations. However, it can be a challenge to find the right words the first time that you meet someone. Regardless of what the situation is, there are several effective ways to begin a conversation. And I'm going to share those effective ways to start a conversation with you today. So, you can choose a variety of topics to start a conversation as long as they are appropriate for the environment. Conversations with colleagues or professional contacts will be different than those with new friends or acquaintances that you may meet and make. Your initial efforts could start a conversation that may pay off by helping you build valuable relationships with coworkers and colleagues. Here are some conversation starters that you can use to help you with that. Number one, ask for information. A good way to start a conversation is to ask for information from the person that you want to talk to. This is an effective, natural way to build rapport with someone quickly. Even if you already know the answer, it is still a good way to approach someone if you cannot think of a topic to talk to them about. Next, you can pay them a compliment. Complimenting someone can brighten their day and boost their confidence. You can pick something about the person that you like and mention why you like it. There are several ways to follow up those questions as you ask and keep the conversation going. Um, for example, if you say, "Oh my goodness, I like your hairstyle is so attractive," you can then follow up and say, "So, if you don't mind telling me, where do you get your hair styled at?" And you please emphasize the "if you don't mind telling me," because sometimes people don't like to answer questions, like that. They like to keep those things to themselves. um, Next, you can comment on something pleasant. You can usually find something positive to say about an event or a situation, the occasion that you are, the event you are at. What occasion is this for? Um, it could be an office happy hour or a sporting game or um, anything positive and pleasant. You can bring up those subjects and talk about them with an individual. If a person shares their views about a situation, you can respond positively, regarding the views that they share as you engage in your conversation. Next, you can just walk up to an individual and introduce yourself. It may not be suitable for every situation, but introducing yourself is a very straightforward way to show your interest in meeting someone. If you just started a new job and have not met someone in another department yet, you can approach them and introduce yourself and say, hey, my name is Sally, and I work in accounts receivables. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm new to the company. What's your name? How are you? You can follow up with questions about what department they work in and what their role is and how long they've been with the company. This is a good way to get a conversation started that can lead to other areas and other questions and really get a nice dialogue going between you and someone new that you're meeting at work. You can also ask for help. Requesting help is another effective conversation starter. It works because it makes the other person feel helpful, especially if it's something that they can provide easily. If someone does you a favor, they may be more likely to think of you in a favorable light and trust you. Asking for help can be a great way to start a friendly conversation, but just make sure that your request is convenient, not something super complicated, asking for directions or something like that. That's easy. Can you show me where the break room is? That's something that's easy and something that people would be more ready to reply, to respond to and help you with, not, hey, can you solve this complicated computer problem? You don't want to suggest anything like that. Next, you could mention a shared experience. If you want to talk to someone who you know shares something in common with you, you can always find a topic that would be a good conversation starter and a good talking point. Your shared experience will make getting along easier, and that aids in the flow of the conversation and the building of the relationship. For example, if you know that they have a dog and you have a dog, then you can talk dogs, you can say, hey, I saw the picture of your Yorkie on your desk. How long have you had him or her? I have a German Shepherd. That when you have shared experience, when you have common ground already, it makes the conversation flow a lot smoother. Next, you can ask their opinion. Soliciting other people's opinion shows you value and are interested in what they have to say. If they are familiar with the topic, many people will happily respond to your questions and get a conversation started. When asking for an opinion, choose topics that are relevant to the moment. People love to share and, expound on their thoughts and their views. And when you ask someone, hey, what brand of coffee is this? Because it's really good. I really enjoy the flavor of it. And then you see them drinking coffee, they can respond in kind and say, yes, this is, Starbucks, pumpkin spice blend, or, whatever. And the conversation can flow and go from there. Also, you could be encouraging and you could be supportive. When you meet someone, especially in upper management in your organization for the first time, it's a good way to start a conversation by being encouraging and supportive of their work. For example, you can say to them, hey, I heard the speech that you gave at the banquet last week. The points that you made were really good. And then you could follow up with some questions that are relevant to the compliment, such as, how did you become such a good public speaker? You know, do you speak all the time? Did you study communications in college? That's a good way to begin a conversation that could really open the door for you now making a good connection with someone in your company that you didn't know before. Next, you can also show genuine interest. See if you can find a topic you know that the person is passionate about. Passion can get your coworkers talking and you can learn something new. Remember to keep the conversation friendly and positive. Next, you can ask them about themselves. People naturally like talking about themselves. Try finding a topic that will allow the person to speak about their interests, their family, or their experiences. For example, you could say, hey, that's a great photo of your family on your desk. How old were your children? How old are your children? Or you could say, hey, I heard you recently took a vacation to Hawaii. How was that? I've always wanted to go myself. Those are good questions that you can ask a person that will get them to respond and expound and help you build a relationship with them. You can also make an observation. You can say things like, this building is so, the architecture of this building is beautiful. They did a really great job redecorating the office. You know, the views from the windows, you know, they just are just so stunning and peace-filled when you look out at them because you see the beauty of the trees and the ponds. You know, you can ask questions or you can make observations like that to a person that you know, and that can get a good conversation started, and it can begin to help you build relationships. You can also comment on the weather. If everything else fails, you can always make a comment on the weather. It is one of the easiest ways to get someone talking and seg into multiple other topics. You know, if the sun is shining, you say, oh, it's such a beautiful day today, isn't it? I think I just want to get out and take a nice walk, you know, or, you know, if you're in a winter state like Michigan, you can say, wow, did you see all that snow we got? Oh my goodness, I never thought it would end, you know. These are also great ways to start a conversation and to begin building relationships with people. Icebreakers. Here are a few questions that you can use to break the ice when you're meeting someone and you're trying to build and establish a relationship. You can ask questions like, have you read any good books lately? Or have you seen any good movies lately? Or what's your favorite TV show? You can also ask, hey, what do you like to do for hobbies? You know, what kind of activities are you interested in doing? You can ask people, do they like to travel? And if they had an opportunity, where would they like to go? You know, what place would you like to travel most to go and see and visit? You can also ask questions about what is the most valuable piece of career advice you've ever been given? That's a great question to ask, especially in the workplace when you're speaking to someone, anyone, your colleague, your coworker, or someone from upper management. You can also ask the question, what person in your life has inspired you the most? You can ask questions like, if you were to sing karaoke, what would be your karaoke song? You can also ask, if you could have lunch with someone famous, who would it be? These are all good questions that you can use socially to meet people, as well as in the work environment to build relationships with your colleagues and your coworkers. You can also ask questions about their family, their pets, or sports. These are perfect topics for work happy hours or team functions. It is a way to engage in small talk and learn more about the person, quickly. Here are a few topics that you should avoid when you are trying to make small talk and when you're trying to get to know people and when you're starting a conversation. Some topics are best to avoid when you're starting a conversation, especially in the workplace or when you're meeting a new acquaintance. Asking questions that are not too personal or too sensitive that can cause your relationship to get off on the wrong foot. A few topics that you may want to stay away from includes money. How much money do you make? That's not a good question to ask anybody, whether you're starting a conversation, building or trying to build a relationship, or you're in and you know the individual for some time now and you're pretty friendly. You never ask anyone how much money they make. Politics, especially with the social culture we have been experiencing, politics is kind of a volatile topic because there can be some extreme opinions, and you don't want to ever get into a conflict or an argument over your views and opinions about something. So politics is a topic that truthfully you should stay away from, especially in the beginning, trying to establish a relationship. Maybe as you get to know them better, maybe, but truthfully, it's too volatile. And there are a lot of extreme and passionate people about what they think and feel. And so to be safe, just don't even talk about it. Religion is another topic that can be perceived as offensive if you're expressing your views on it or even inquiring. When you ask people, what do they believe, that can be construed as being offensive and too personal. So that's another topic that you don't want to really engage with another person about, especially when you're just meeting them and getting to know them. Also, don't ask people their age, especially, women. Don't ask. You don't ever ask someone, how old are you? That is so offensive, controversies that are out there. There are many things that are going on in our society that's very controversial. And rather than being offensive or offending anyone, just stay away from topics like that. And definitely gossip. Don't gossip, because it's not a good thing to engage in negative conversation about another person. It's just not a good thing to do ever. So these are some topics you want to steer clear of. The key is to try to avoid any negative conversations that might make people uncomfortable. Keep your conversations, especially startup conversations, as positive as possible. And that way you can start a good relationship with a person and your coworker or an acquaintance or a friend, colleague. You want to stay as positive as possible. That way you will make a good impression on them, and you'll be positioned where they will want to engage in conversation with you and spend time with you. Well, friends, that is all my time for today. Thanks so much for tuning into Life Skills FYI. If you have any questions or you want to reach out and just say, hey, please feel free. My number is 586-842-0558. That's 586-842-0558. Again, my name is Toni Cureton. Thanks so much for tuning in, and remember to always adult responsibly.